probably the favorite geometric shape of car lovers who are now under 40 years old. 4 circles, 2 of them a little bit smaller. You see a car on the road. It may have done something that moved you. The sound, the look, the acceleration, or the handling. But it's never all those things at the same time. But this car shatters that stereotype. This is a tribute video I wanted to make when I found out that the new GTR will now be electric. The Nissan Skyline is one of the most special cars in automobile history. It gives you all these features for a third of the price of the sports car it beats by 5 lengths. The first Skyline models lacked a true GTR spirit. The first true Skyline GTR started with the 1969 Skyline, also known as the Hakusuka. Until 1989, a few GTRs were produced, but the expected sun had yet to rise. In 1989, our beloved R32 Skyline GTR appeared on the scene. This was the first version to feature our favorite quad taillights. Now that the bad boy of the tuning world has been born, let's shift into third gear. But before that, we could use a good launch. What a launch! This launch can save you a lot of time, but I always like to see some smoke. The R32 GTR earned the nickname Godzilla for dominating 29 races in a row. Contrary to popular belief, this nickname belongs to the R32 GTR. Many people think it belongs to the R34 GTR. Many famous rivals of the Godzilla said that it was ridiculous for this car to win all the races and that it should not be included. This model was equipped with innovations such as the taillights all-wheel drive system and Super High's all-wheel steering technology. Its 2.6-liter twin-turbo engine, codenamed RB26DETT, produced 276 horsepower. This formidable combination gave the car very good acceleration, but also very good maneuverability. The car was dusting itself off the curve lines. I want to share with you a scene about this engine that very few people realize. In the movie Tokyo Drift, Sean was losing all his cars. As a last resort, he dismantled the RB26DETT engine in the S15 he had previously smashed. He installed it in his father's old Mustang. There was a drone shot while adjusting the engine. While he was drifting, he was gearing up and suddenly the engine was moving. I know very well what these engines do during drifting in the drift races I have gone before. It has always excited me in this scene. Introduced in 1995, the R33 Skyline GTR inherited the legacy of the R32. It had a more aerodynamic design and an improved chassis. It became one of the fastest production cars in the world, with a lap time of 7 minutes and 59 seconds at the Nürburgring, the world's toughest circuit, also known as the Green Hell. The design didn't change much, and those sharp lines softened a bit more. Why make a radical change when all eyes were already on it? It was 1999, and Nissan didn't realize it had produced an unforgettable car. The most loved Japanese car of all time was now in front of the eyes of all car lovers. It was a work of art that people could modify for 25 years, enter in all kinds of races, and sit in front for a cup of coffee. The R34 Skyline GTR became the most iconic model in the series. Under the bonnet was an improved version of the RB26 engine. Inside, there were innovations such as a 5.8-inch LCD information display. This info screen was a great innovation for the time. It was custom-made by a company that designed a computer game. It showed many values that the driver wanted to see while driving and maximized the driver's pleasure. The popularity of this car, used by Paul Walker in the Fast and Furious movie, has increased even more. Now the whole world knows this car and what it can do. Although it is approximately 35 years old, the RB26 DATE engine is still wildly used and modified today. This engine, which comes out of the factory as 276 horsepower, can be increased to 500 horsepower without any part replacement. Many examples have been made that can produce 1,000 or 1,500 horsepower by changing parts, such as pistons and cranks. In 2007, Nissan dropped the Skyline name and introduced the R35 model as Nissan GTR. Some radical changes were made in the design. It became more muscular and more intimidating to its rivals. But those taillights never changed. The 2.6-liter RB26 engine was replaced by a 3.8-liter twin-turbo V6 codenamed VR38. This engine was initially rated at 478 horsepower, later reaching 565 horsepower with the engine at the front and the transmission at the rear. Weight distribution was perfectly optimized. When the engine is running, the shaft between the crank and the transmission runs from front to rear and rotates even when the car is not moving. The power that was transferred to the transmission at the rear was transferred to the front wheels via a different shaft when the car started moving. In other words, the enormous power from the engine was transferred back to the front wheels after traveling around the entire car. This design gives the GTR incredible stability. Nissan officials claim that this system allows us to reach speeds of up to 300 kilometers with one hand. Today, the Skyline GTR is one of the most respected models in the automobile world. People are attracted to it not only because of its performance, but also because of its cultural impact. Even if it succumbs to the electric current, the GTR will always be at the forefront of car lovers' hearts, with flames shooting from its exhaust. Don't forget to subscribe for more special car reviews like this one.